You see, what happens is this. An individual who all his life has played the social game is then faced with the question, now, who am I really? In order to find that out, I have to go off by myself. Why? Because you have a role conception, a mass conception of yourself based on how other people tell you who you are. If belief is a construct, then like any other construct, it can be manipulated and changed. At any moment, you can choose to believe something new about yourself. Now, the weird thing about belief is that as soon as you change that belief, it becomes true. Why that is, I will never quite understand. What weird quirk of human evolution has left us in a space where simply believing it makes it true? If you think you're dumb, guess what? You're dumb and you will act in accordance with that belief. That should scare the hell out of you. So, if you think about it, people wake up in the morning and begin to think about their problems. Those problems are circuits of memories in the brain. Each one of those memories is connected to people and things at certain times and places. If the brain is a record of the past, the moment they start their day, they're already thinking in the past. Each one of those memories has an emotion. Emotions are the end product of past experiences. So the moment they recall those memories of their problems, they suddenly feel unhappy, sad, or in pain. How you think and how you feel creates your state of being. So, a person's entire state of being when they start their day is in the past. What does that mean? The familiar past will sooner or later be a predictable future. If you believe that your thoughts have something to do with your destiny, and you can't think greater than how you feel, or if feelings have become the means of thinking, by definition, you're thinking in the past. For the most part, you're going to keep creating the same life. So then, people grab their cell phones. They check their WhatsApp, they check their text, they check their emails, they check Facebook. They take a picture of their feet and post it on Facebook. They tweet something, they do Instagram, they check the news. Now they feel really connected to everything that's known in their life. Then they go through a series of routine behaviors. They get out of bed on the same side. They go to the toilet. They get a cup of coffee. They take a shower. They get dressed. They drive to work the same way. They do the same things. They see the same people. They push the same emotional buttons. That becomes a routine, and it becomes like a program. Now, they've lost their free will to a program. There's no unseen hand doing it to them. When it comes time to change, the redundancy of that cycle becomes a subconscious program. So now, 95% of who we are by the time we're 35 years old is a memorized set of behaviors, emotional reactions, unconscious habits, hardwired attitudes, beliefs, and perceptions that function like a computer program. The mind is the matrix in and of itself. Right now, today, in this moment, I promise you, the matrix has you. If you know David Foster Wallace's concept of this is water. To a fish, water is so ubiquitous, it ceases to exist. We all have that same thing, and it's playing on us. It's keeping us from becoming who we want to become. And that thing is our mindset. It's our belief system. It is so ever-present. It is so ingrained into the fabric of who you are and the way that you process data. You don't even notice it. You don't even know that it's real. This is the thing that impacts your life. It is your inability to see that your mindset controls everything. It is water in and of itself. Now, when I heard this from Shakespeare, I realized that once you become aware of the water, you can change everything. So then, a person can say with their 5% of their conscious mind, I want to be healthy, I want to be happy, I want to be free, but the body is on a whole different program. So, how do you begin to make those changes? Well, you have to get beyond the analytical mind. The analytical mind separates the conscious mind from the subconscious mind, and that's where meditation comes in. Because you can teach people to practice how to change their brain, slow them down, and when they do that properly, they enter the operating system where they can begin to make some really important changes. So, most people then wait for crisis, trauma, disease, or diagnosis. They wait for loss or some tragedy to make up their minds to change. My message is, why wait? You can learn and change in a state of pain and suffering. You can learn and change in a state of joy and inspiration. I think right now, the cool thing is that people are waking up. Every public appearance that I've made related to the topics we're discussing is overwhelmingly men. It's like 85 to 90%. So I thought, wow, that's weird. What the hell is going on here exactly? And then the other thing I've noticed is that I've been talking a lot to the crowd. I've been addressing, not about rights, but about responsibility. Right, because you can't have the conversation about rights without the conversation about responsibility. Your rights are my responsibility, technically, so you just can't have only half of that discussion. And we're only having half that discussion. The question is, what the hell are you leaving out if you only have that half of the discussion? And the answer is, you're leaving out responsibility. Then the question is, what are you leaving out if you're leaving out responsibility? The answer might be, well, maybe you're leaving out the meaning of life. That's what it looks like to me. Seach. It's like here you are, suffering away. What makes it worthwhile, you know? You're completely out. You have no idea what you're doing. It's almost impossible to describe how bad an idea that is. Responsibility, that's what gives life meaning. It's like lifting a load. Then you can tolerate yourself, right? Because look at you. Useless, easily hurt, easily killed. Why should you have any self-respect? That's the story of the fall. Pick something up and carry it. Make it heavy enough so that you can think, yeah, well, useless as I am, at least I could move that from there to there. Nylan, false. What's really cool about that is that when I talk to these crowds about this, the men's eyes light up. I've seen that phenomenon because I've been talking about this mythological material for a long time. I can see when I'm watching crowds, people's eyebrows lift, their eyes light up, because I put something together for them. That's what mythological stories do. I'm not taking responsibility for that. That's what the stories do. So I say the story, and people go, click, 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 you know, when their eyes light up. But this responsibility thing, that's a whole new order. Young men are so hungry for that, it's unbelievable. It just blows me away. It's like, really, that's what's missing. No, so they thought that I'm a family, that's the counterculture. Grow the hell up and do something useful. Really, I could do that. Oh, I'm so excited by that idea. No one ever mentioned that before. It's like rights. Jesus, it's appalling. And I feel that that's deeply felt by the people who are coming out to listen to these sorts of things too. They've had enough of that, so they better have, because it's a non-productive mode of being. Responsibility, man. Life has no duplicate, as Jerry Jackson would say. So you want to live life on your terms. You want to live each day as if it were your last, and give it everything you have. And that's what I'm focused on in my 77th year on the planet, to finish strong and to do things that will impact my children, my grandchildren, and my great-grandchildren, and live a life that will outlive me. As we look at where we are, there's a reckoning going on. This is an incredible time to really turn things to your advantage. A lot of people right now are looking and asking the question, what's next? Because life is disruptive. But also, in the process, it's transformational. When there's a disruption, you have to transform yourself to accommodate the disruption. You don't want to just be a victim or a witness. You want to be engaged and on top of your game to go to that next level. New York requires that. The world requires that right now more than ever before. I asked a young man who was taking my bags, "What's your passion?" he said. "My children." He said it in a split second. That grabbed me because that's where I am coming from. My children. That's my passion. The things I do to generate money are one thing, but my passion is to help my kids have the tools they need to live a meaningful, successful, impactful life, to be an asset to the world rather than a liability. I know many of you feel the same way. So as you look at yourself, your goals, and what you want to do, How many of you are hungry for greatness? Let me see some hearts up in here. You have greatness in you. You have built-in greatness. But that greatness must be focused on, cultivated, and developed. That greatness must be called forth. As you work on yourself and your dreams, realize that you've been given the power, authority, and dominion to do more than you can ever begin to imagine. Discouragement can creep in secretly. Discouragement is so bold that it will even hide behind a smile. It will always ride to work with you. And if it doesn't catch a ride going to work, it'll catch a ride on the way back home. Whoever stays down is a loser. Fail and get up. Fail and get up. Fail and get up. That is a winner. That is a winner because it takes courage to put yourself out there and try to get a little better. I think those who learn to endure hardship, struggle, challenge, difficulty, pain, and failure, that's one side of that. And I just learned to be comfortable being uncomfortable. If you play it safe, you won't have much of a life. Life is risk. Well, let me tell you something. Don't be afraid of failing because there's nothing wrong with failing. What is not okay is that when you fail, you stay down. I love that. I feel bad when I don't do a good job. Guilt is a tool. Guilt is a weapon. Most people hate that about themselves. I love that feeling like I didn't do a good job. The next time I will. For some people, guilt is discouragement. For others, it's a signal for learning. If you listen to discouragement, it will cause you to make bad decisions. It will cause you to think that life is not worth living. You will wonder if you're ever going to get out of what you're into. It takes courage to pursue your dream. Now, it's going to cost you something. Most people are not willing to pay what it costs to go after your dream because you're going to have to hurt a little bit. And most people don't like being uncomfortable. If you don't want to be uncomfortable, please do not pursue success because success is very uncomfortable. If you advance confidently in the direction of your own dreams and endeavor to live the life which you have imagined, you will meet with a success unexpected in common hours. Success is an inner process. Success is something that you bring to everything you do in your life today. If you ask me what it takes to be happy, I'd give you one word: progress. Progress equals happiness. When you're making progress in your body, even if you're not there yet, you feel good. We've got to grow. We've got to make progress. It's easy to make progress in the beginning of something. There is a power in mastery. And how many people do you know who are really committed to mastery today? Most people dabble in a million things. They master nothing. And they wonder why they're unfulfilled because they're running for the sugar. The next thing that feels good. The next thing that feels good. Instead of getting past what doesn't feel good and getting to where you own something. Progress is the game, my friend. You've got to grow or you die inside. And you've got to give, or you don't feel any meaning in your life. Life isn't always happy, but it can always be meaningful. And if it's meaningful, life is rich. You're a survivor, so I want you to get off that. I want you to cut it off. I want you to go in the mirror. I want you to make the rest of your life the best of your life. I can. I would. I will. I must. When you realize you will be 10 times more energized, focused, and take positive action in your life when you first choose to develop yourself as a priority, and then get to the stuff of the world. And before you say happiness won't pay my bills, happiness will pay your bills. You must value yourself enough to take the time every single day to work on you, to engage in something that will ensure you are a positive influence on the world. You have not peaked here. There's more in you that you're expressing. Eye has not seen, ear has not heard, nor has entered the heart of mankind what's in store for you if you challenge yourself, if you persist and persevere, if you take ownership of your life. George Bernard Shaw said, "The people that make it in this life, they look around for the circumstances that they want, and if they can't find them, they create them. Create what you want." The reason you're here is because there's something in you that says, "I can do more. This just can't be it." There's something in you, there's a calling on your life. I want you to know that no matter where you are in life, no matter how low you have sunk, no matter how bleak your situation, this is not the end of we, us. This is not the end of your story. This is not the final chapter of your life. The human spirit doesn't care what's happened to your family. The human spirit doesn't care about the past. You may have been molested, or your family may have been broke, or you may have been betrayed, or you may have had a divorce. Your human spirit doesn't care about any of that. Your human spirit simply says, "What's our command for tomorrow? What do you want to create?" Not the it. It's not keeping score. Your brain is keeping score because your brain is designed to keep you safe. Your soul, your intuition, your human spirit is designed to make you soar. And when you get to the edge of that stage, your brain will always tell you to step back. It's always going to tell you to step back because you could fall. It's going to tell you to step back because before you failed the last time you did that, you saw someone else fail. You could hurt, you could be off work. It's going to tell you. It's designed to keep you safe. So you have to be willing to play between your brain and your soul. And on some days, you've got to just listen to your soul. And you've got to say, "I'm going to leak. I'm going to get to the edge." Most people are at the edge, and you're sitting at the edge, and you're watching everyone else fly. You're watching people's lives on Facebook. You're at the edge watching someone else live, wondering what it's going to be like when you jump without ever jumping. And I'm just here to tell you jump, because only three things can happen. You're either going to jump and fly, or you're going to jump and fall on something soft, or you're going to fall down hard. Either way, you're going to get back up. You already know you've got what it takes to get back up. Your greatest fear is not that you will fall. Your greatest fear is that you will live a full life and never fly, that you never leaped. You're not afraid of dying. You're afraid of dying before the world sees who you really are, before they really get your fingerprint, before they really feel your breath, before they really get your contribution, before they really feel you. That's what you don't want to happen. You don't want to leave this place without us knowing you were here. All I'm doing is giving my dream a chance. And I'm not extraordinary. You don't get off the hook. You don't get to be loved. I'm an ordinary woman who chooses every day to make one more extraordinary decision. What I'd like you to do right now is think about your dream. Think about your dream right now and envision it. I don't know what that dream is that you have. I don't care how far-fetched it might appear to be. I don't care how disappointing it might have been as you've been working toward that dream. But here's what I know, that dream that you're holding in your mind, it's possible. See, sometimes we can't say, "I can do that," but what we can say is that it's possible, that I can have my dreams as we run toward it, as we work on it day in and day out. And most people don't work on their dreams. Why? They stop growing, they stop working on themselves, they stop stretching, they stop pushing themselves. These are not risk takers. Most people have done all that they're ever going to do. They raise a family, they earn a living, and then they die. But people who are running toward their dreams, life has a special kind of meaning. That in the process of working on your dreams, you are going to incur a lot of disappointment, a lot of failure, a lot of pain, a lot of setbacks, a lot of defeats. But in the process of doing that, you will discover some things about yourself that you don't know right now. What you'll realize is that you're more powerful than you could ever begin to imagine. When you make the decision to do what you want with your life, know this, because the family and friends in your life do not share your vision. They will often be the first to try to talk you out of it. But remember, only those who can see the invisible can do the impossible. You have the time, the knowledge, the willpower, and the discipline to get it done. Sometimes we can't say, "I can do that," but we can say, "It's possible that I can achieve my dream." As we work toward it every day, why do we doubt ourselves when things get tough? We start imagining things going wrong in the future and stressing over them. Understand that the human mind is the most powerful tool we own, but it can also be the most destructive. We need to learn how to take control of our thoughts and emotion. How badly do you want it? You must prove to yourself that you want it badly enough. It's going to hurt not to achieve it, and that's when you'll learn to conquer your mind. When your heart and mind are aligned, nothing can stop you. It was hard for me. I faced financial difficulties, was behind on bills, and doubted myself. There were times I wondered why this was happening to me. But for those of you who have faced hardships, don't give up on your dreams. There's a fight right around the corner. You need to learn how to fight. It's about what you're saying to yourself, but it also requires hard work. Whenever I was beaten down physically, mentally, or spiritually, I reminded myself that no one could hurt me. If you want to be great, if you want to be the best ever at what you do, you might be misunderstood by everyone because you'll be so obsessed and driven. That's what it takes. It takes every second of your life. Balance is important for a lot of people. It is. But if you want to push the edge where people don't like or understand you, you've arrived. When you are misunderstood to the point where people think you're crazy and question why you're at the gym at 1 a.m. after a long day or training, it means you're in the right spot. When people don't understand you anymore, you're in that spot of obsession and drive where people say, I don't want to talk to you because you're not going to get it. Once we achieve something, we celebrate for a while, but then wonder why we no longer have drive. If you don't develop a routine of discomfort, not like killing yourself every day, but being uncomfortable, that keeps you hungry if you live on past victories and say, I'm going to challenge myself for 30 days, 2 weeks, or just run 1 marathon. It ends, I did 1 marathon. Okay, that's why you lose drive. It's because you haven't set up the next obstacle. Obstacles are how you grow. You must continue to face friction as growth comes from it. Without friction, there's no growth. You have to call yourself out if you're not where you want to be. I want to hear you admit it, not make excuses. Many avoid confronting their past and problems, leading to stagnation. They wonder why they aren't improving because they haven't dealt with underlying issues. For instance, people who go through special training may get strong physically, but only mask their mental weaknesses. They build a stronger quitter. When adversity strikes, they realize their mind is still soft. You can't avoid pain. Wounds sometimes heal without a trace, but severe wounds leave scars. Physical scars from accidents or surgery, and invisible scars from emotional wounds like divorce or betrayal. We often try to hide these scars, seeing only the hurt. But we need to view our scars differently, accepting them as part of our journey. Instead of cursing the pain, which just spreads anger through your being, find a peaceful place within yourself. Trust in yourself and the wisdom that created you. This wisdom is infinite and formless. Align your thoughts with this divine presence. Focus on what you want rather than what you don't. Reflect on who you want to be and why you're here. Live according to principles of love, compassion, and joy, celebrating others' successes. Overcome hatred and confusion by cultivating a good heart. That's what happened to me. Then I start to get clear about what I like to do and how I can be of service, how I can help others. We are wired for success, but it's how we relate to our experience that determines whether we're chipping away at or burying that sense of wholeness we're born with. We forget it and look outside instead of inside. Unless we are still and reflect, we miss the fact that we were born with this master. No one can give it to us or take it away. It's an inside job. So, if I look at what's right, it makes sense. It's about whether you're coming from a place of scarcity or survival mode, or from growth mode, which involves saying yes to life and recognizing your capacity and responsibility to make things different or better. Having faith and vulnerability to see hard truths means getting comfortable with being uncomfortable. Can you handle the truth? If you can't, then you need to figure out how to deal with that discomfort until you can see what you need to change. Persistence is key, continuing to act until you get it right. Most of the work involves making mistakes, learning from them, and viewing mistakes as feedback rather than failures. They are just events, not definitions of who we are. Error correction is crucial. When you attribute mistakes to something you can learn or change, you gain faith and confidence. If you view yourself as not strong enough or not tall enough, that's just the negative committee telling you that you can't do anything. Instead, ask yourself what you can do. It's like a child learning to walk. No matter how far you rise, you are bound to stumble because you're constantly pushing yourself higher. The law of averages and the myth of Icarus predict that you will fall at some point. When you fall, remember this: there is no such thing as failure. Failure is just life trying to move us in another direction. When you're in a hole, it looks like failure. Last year, I had to remind myself of this. It's okay to feel bad for a while and mourn what you think you've lost. Then learn from every mistake. Every experience and mistake is there to teach you and help you become more of who you are. In Silicon Valley, the liberal mindset is partly due to the high number of entrepreneurs who are high in openness and lower in conscientiousness. They are creative and willing to break rules, often not to a criminal extent, but they do push boundaries. For example, Uber bent rules to succeed, and scooter rental companies launched without asking for permission, testing what would happen. This rule-breaking proclivity is necessary to manage and innovate. History shows that those who dare to imagine the impossible are the ones who break human limitations. In every field, science, medicine, sports, arts, technology, those who have changed the world did so by surpassing the limits of their imagination. Names like C.V. Raman, Newton, Einstein, and Chandrasekhar illustrate this eye. By breaking the limits of their imagination, they changed the world. You can't give away what you don't have. Now it sounds ridiculous, okay, but it's more than what meets the air. As you hear this, you can't give away what you don't have. People who are not good at giving away love can't give away love because they don't have it to give away. If I want to give you a dozen oranges, I can't give you those dozen oranges unless I go out and pick up 12 oranges someplace. Otherwise, all it is just empty rhetoric. Same thing is true of virtually everything in your life. You can't give away love to others if you don't have love in here to give away. If what you have in here is contempt, if what you have in here is anger, if what you have in here is fear, then these are the things you're going to be giving away in your life. Loving yourself is the most powerful thing we can do. Then everything flows beautifully. I'm not talking about vanity or arrogance because that is not love. That's always fear. I'm talking about really respecting and appreciating this incredible magnificence that we are. Little babies know how to love themselves. You were born in pure love. All of you. There's not one little baby alive that I know of that ever criticizes its body or says, "My hips are too big." They're just thrilled and delighted that they have a body. They rejoice in it and they love themselves. They love their toes. They love everything about themselves. They absolutely adore that. They express their feelings. I mean, a baby is happy. You know it. When a baby is angry, the whole neighborhood knows it. They're never scared to let people know how they feel. They live in the moment and they're filled with courage and they're wonderful. We were all like that. You've got to remember that you were filled with courage and you were full of love and you adored yourself when you were very little. Have a mind that is open to everything and attached to nothing. One of the central principles of my life is that no one knows enough to be a pessimist about anything. Each and every one of us, when we close our mind to what is possible for us or what is possible for humanity, closes off the genius that resides in each and every one of us. Having an open mind doesn't necessarily mean finding fault with all of the things that you've been taught by others. It means opening yourself up to the potentiality and the possibility that anything and everything is possible. So having a mind that is open to everything and attached to nothing really means finding within ourselves the ability to get rid of a trait that I find so common in the contemporary world. Do you know that most people I meet spend their lives looking for occasions to be offended? They actually are out there hoping that they can find some reason to be offended. And there's no shortage of reasons. They're out there everywhere. The way this person dressed, what this person said. They turn on the TV, they hear the news, and they're offended by this. Someone didn't use language they didn't like. Someone doesn't share the same customs as you, and people are offended all day long. In fact, if you keep track, Tomorrow, you will find probably 100 reasons to be offended. But a mind that is open to everything and attached to nothing is a mind that says, I'm never looking for anything to be offended by. You must find a way to serve. Martin Luther King said that not everybody can be famous, but everybody can be great because greatness is determined by service. Now we live in a world where everybody wants to be famous and where we admire people for just being known. We think being known brings us value. The truth is all of that will fade in time. In 3 years, you won't be able to name the housewives of Atlanta. The real truth is that service and the significance you bring to your service is what is lasting. So whatever your occupation or job or talent or gift is, our honorees today getting doctoral degrees, apparently in opposite fields. HIV and AIDS and the spoken word, what they have in common is service. Using the spoken word in service to the community and the world. Using your knowledge and information about HIV and AIDS and medicine in service to the world. If you look at all the most successful people in the world, whether they know it or not, they have that paradigm of service. Everybody's talking about Mark Zuckerberg, and I appeal to service. Jay-Z raps in service through the word to people through song for many years. I was really just happy to be on TV, and people would stop and say, oh, he's on TV again. I like being on TV. It's a nice job. It was around the time I received my honorary doctorate from Spelman. Around 1993, I don't know if that had something to do with it, but I thought of myself as a doctor then. I went back and took a long look at what I was doing on TV and made a decision that I was no longer going to just be on TV. I was going to use TV as a platform, as a force for good, and not be used by TV. I will tell you, my decision to make that significant change in the way I operated on television, using television as a service, changed my career exponentially. Service in medicine, service through art, using whatever it is you produce or your product as a way of giving back to the world. When you shift the paradigm to service and bring significance to what you do, success will, I promise you, follow. Service and significance equals success. Number 2, it's so simple but so hard to do. Always do the right thing. Always be excellent. People notice. Think of how you notice when you go to Taco Bell and somebody gives you an extra napkin and some sauce. You notice, you notice. You want to go back to that person because even at Taco Bell, excellence shows itself. Be excellent. Let excellence be your brand. Everybody talks about building a brand. I never even knew what that was. When people said you're a brand, I would say, no, I'm just Oprah. What I recognize now is that my choice to, in every way, in every example, and in every experience, do the right thing, and the excellent thing is what has created the brand. Years ago, I did an ad for Revlon called Unforgettable Women. What I know is that when you are excellent, you become unforgettable. People remember you. You stand out. We all want to be unforgettable and not forgettable. So, doing the right thing, even when nobody knows you're doing the right thing, will always bring the right thing to you. I promise you that. Why? Because the third law of motion is always at work. For every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. That is so true in all of our lives. That's what Newton said. Cillian in The Color Purple said it. Everything you even try to do to me is already done to you. Everything you even try to do to me is already done to you. So you don't have to worry about revenge or getting back at somebody or making sure they pay. You just have to do the right thing, and the right thing will follow you. Even when people don't support it, you do the right thing. Even when other people think it may not be, and oftentimes when you make a decision to do the right thing, immediately you're faced with doubt. Is that the right thing? Is that the right decision? You always know it's the right thing when, in the end, there's peace. You are rewarded by peace and knowing that you did the right thing. The most important thing I have come to know in doing the right thing and making the right choices is understanding that all of you leaving here have the potential for enormous success. There's a price that comes with that. People are not always happy for you. And what I know for sure is that the biggest choices begin and end with you. Your internal big questions: do I want to be in alignment with source energy, with all that is divine and universal? I'm not talking about what you believe in God. I'm talking about your experience of that which is all life, which is divine and universal. The big deal is being connected and aligned with that. When you are tuned in and charged into that, whenever you feel empty, go inside yourself. Connect to the source and know that all things are possible. To know that and to choose to do the right thing in service and significance, I promise you, you will create a vessel of service for yourself first. You have to honor yourself first, give to yourself first. This way, you will create a vessel for yourself, for your family, for your community. The storm is passing out. You shall not be. Never let what you want to say get in the way of what your audience wants to hear. Conduct communications intelligently. Ask them, listen to what they're telling you, and then craft and create a story out of your experiences and observations. Learn to allow them to see a vision of themselves differently than what they had before you came in. Orchestrate an experience that is major with information to change people. Everybody will be skinny, rich, and happy. Most people have goals in life. They think you gotta be goal-oriented. That's the first mistake. Yes, you need goals, but there's something far beyond goals. If you look at successful people, they have lots of vision. A vision is about what you're here to create. The vision that really works is one that excites you. You've got to have a vision for what it is you truly want, not what you think you want or what you should have. You've got to focus on you. As you convince yourself every day, every day, every day, you will begin to see a difference in the things you're doing. Selling yourself on your ability to perform and achieve a certain objective. Telling yourself every day, here I go again, and I've got what it takes. This is my day, and nothing out here is going to stop me. If you will change, everything will change for you. You don't have to change what's outside. All you have to change is what's inside. To have more, you simply have to become more. And then he said, don't wish it were easier. Wish you were better. Don't wish for fewer problems. Wish for more skills. Start working on yourself, making these personal changes, and it will all change. When you want to succeed as badly as you want to breathe, then you'll be successful. When all you want to do is be successful as badly as you want to breathe, then you'll be successful. I'm here to tell you that most of you say you want to be successful, but you don't want it bad. You just kind of want it. You don't want it as bad as you want to party. You don't want it as much as you want to be cool. Most of you don't want success as much as you want to sleep. I'm here to tell you today, to be successful, you've got to be willing to give up sleep. You've got to be willing to work off 3 hours of sleep, 2 hours if you really want to be successful. Some days you will have to stay up 3 days in a row because if you go to sleep, you might miss the opportunity to be successful. That's how badly you've got to want it. I boiled it down to 5 major pieces of the life puzzle. Let's review those. Number 1 is philosophy. Philosophy, as I taught the last time I was here, is the major determining factor in how your life works out. Philosophy is the major determining factor in how your life works. To form our philosophy, you've got to think. You've got to use your mind, process ideas. This whole process takes a lifetime, starting way back when we were children, schools we've attended, our parents, our experiences. All this stuff that we've processed by the thinking process helps to develop our philosophy. In my opinion, each person's personal philosophy is the major factor in how your life works out. Here's what I called it in that last presentation when I was here. It's called the set of the sail. Each person's personal philosophy is like the set of the sail. Here's what's exciting about each person's personal philosophy. That's what makes us different from dogs, animals, birds, cats, spiders, alligators, etc. It makes us different from all other life forms. The ability to think, the ability to use your mind, the ability to process ideas and not just operate by instinct. In the winter, I'm telling you, the goose can only fly south. What if south doesn't look too good? Tough luck. It can only fly south. But see, human beings are not like a goose that can only fly south. You can turn around and go north, you can go east, you can go west. You can order the entire process of your own life, and we do that by the way we think. We do that by exercising our mind. We do that by processing ideas and coming up with a better philosophy, a better strategy for our lives, goals for the future, and plans to achieve those goals. All this comes from developing our philosophy. Philosophy helps us to process what's available. Well, when we get here, we've got seed, soil, rain, sunshine, and seasons. And that's the miracle of life. Now the key is, what do you do with all this stuff? How do you turn all this stuff that's available into equity, promise, lifestyle, dreams, and future possibilities? All of this is possible now. With the right approach, how do you take all this stuff and turn it into equity values? It starts with philosophy. What is the seed? What is the soil? What is the sunshine? What is the rain? Is it possible to take some of each of all the stuff that's available and turn it into food, value, nourishment, and something spectacular and unique that no other life form can do? The answer is yes, but you cannot deal with all this stuff and know what to do with it unless you start refining your philosophy. Think, use your mind, come up with ideas, and strengthen your philosophy. There is an energy in the universe, something that is in each and every one of us, and it's also in the universe. You are connected to it in a way that is often perceived to be aloof from us because it's invisible. It's in the world of what we call spirit, the world that is not material. I would like to suggest that you suspend your disbelief, allowing yourself to know that you're not a human being having a spiritual experience, but rather a spiritual being having a human experience. The quality of your human experience is really much more dependent upon how you use this invisible intelligence and how you connect to this energy. Once you have an awareness that you can never be separate from it, that you and it are one, regardless of what you call it, it doesn't matter if you call it God, divine presence, soul, spirit, consciousness, Christ consciousness, Buddha consciousness, or any other name. Alan Watts once said that you can't get wet from the word water. It isn't the word that allows you to experience water. Whatever you call it, it is distinct from what it is. When I was walking here this evening on these beautiful grounds, I saw some people looking at the flowers and different plants. As they looked, one person who was obviously an expert, a botanist of some kind, who's trying to explain the technical name for each flower. I watched and thought, it doesn't matter what you call it. Can't you enjoy looking at it? It's orange and just came out of nowhere. There's something very profound about enjoying it and being with it, rather than being obsessed with labeling it. A very famous Danish theologian, Søren Kierkegaard, once said that once you label me, you negate me. Once you place a label on me and put me into a compartment or category, I must then become what you have labeled me to be. So we want to be able to live our lives and practice principles of higher awareness without being consumed by what I call ordinary human awareness. Ordinary human awareness is just the recognition or belief that I'm a human being, maybe having a spiritual experience. I'm not quite sure. Higher human awareness, sometimes called city awareness in the East, or higher consciousness or Christ consciousness in the West, has many names. But when you get beyond just knowing yourself as this body, personality, and thing you inhabit, and begin to realize that who you are is that which was never born and can never die, when you recognize your eternal self, this is what this program is really of. It's about recognizing the power, the energy, the capacity to do what is said in some of the most holy books, that even the least among you can do all that I have done, and even greater things. These are not just empty words from Holy Scriptures. They are a very powerful lesson that each and every one has to practice and live every day. Don't deviate. Don't procrastinate. Don't become frustrated. All you have to do to win this battle is stay on track. There are moments that try the human soul so violently and so perplexingly that if the truth were told, all of us have had moments where we wanted to throw up our hands and walk away. Quitting first starts as a thought. We all get that thought. It comes across your mind. I'm tired. I should quit. We all get those thoughts. It's not just you. But in order to finish, you've got to be able to take those thoughts captive. You've got to be able to talk yourself into it and stop talking yourself out of it. Dan, I'm tired. I should quit. That's when you talk yourself out of quitting. Work on yourself. Work on your focus. You cannot stop working. The problem with you is you see difficult as something negative. I want you to see difficult differently. Are you hearing me? I need you to push through that stuff. Set a goal to become a millionaire for what it will make of you to achieve it. Set a goal to become a millionaire for what it will make of you to achieve it. The major reason for setting goals is what it makes of you to achieve it. The muscle you must develop, the thinking you must develop, the skills you must develop, the person you must develop, what you must know about the marketplace, how to serve the customer, and how to do the deal. All the stuff you learn and become, that's what's valuable. That's why you go for something fairly lofty. Don't join an easy crowd where the expectations are low or where they don't care. The problem with that is you won't grow. Go where the expectations are high. Go where you're challenged to study. Read, change, develop, learn the next skill, because it's the challenge that creates the muscle, the mental muscle, the vocal muscle, the actual physical muscle, to become better, stronger, wiser, more unique. You don't belong at the bottom, and it's time for you to get your butt from down there. It's time for you to stop being comfortable at the bottom. Get your foot up and get you where you're supposed to be. And I know I've said before that knowledge is the most important thing. But the reality is if you don't have the strength, or actually the health, to back that up or even to function as a human being physically, then your knowledge and your mental strength don't really matter. So that comes into play. And being big and strong is also totally useless if you're mentally weak and you quit. Now, being mentally strong should actually lead you to being physically strong. Because if you are mentally strong, then you can work and train to become physically strong. But if you're mentally weak, then you will not hold the line on the good foods and the good workouts, and you won't get physically strong or healthy. So can you be weak and strong at the same time? Yes, but I say be strong. Train your physical strength and exercise your mental strength by doing the right things, the hard things, the things you know you're supposed to do. Do them and be as strong as you can mentally, physically, and emotionally. For yourself, for your team, for your family. Hold the line and be strong. Your life, how you live, what you do, the character of your words, the totality of your personality, the expression of your mind. So managing your mind is the primary principle for increasing your value and multiplying your success and upgrading your state. Sometimes you say, I've tried hard about this, I've prayed about this, I've done this and I've done that, and I haven't had much success with it. What more can I do? Well, I'm saying to you, let's begin with mind management. Can we manage your mind? Can we get into your mind and see how it works? See what files need to be deleted and what files need to be downloaded and installed. So what changes can we make in the structure of your thinking? Is what you've done with your life thus far giving you what you want? Is it giving you what you want when you look toward the future, when you look at all that's going on out here? Is there some place within yourself where you say, hey, I know I need to be out there in that arena. I know I can do more than what I've been doing. I know there's some great music that I have within me that I haven't brought out here yet. Is that something you begin to look at within yourself? See, I say if you look at your life and you're not getting what you want, you owe it to yourself to do something differently. If you're on a job, 85% they say of Americans go to jobs that are unhappy. If you're doing something 8 hours a day that you don't like, it's not giving you what you want. It's not giving you a strong feeling of satisfaction and fulfillment. You're miserable, you hate to go there. You're depressed just thinking about it, and you're saying, thank God it's Friday every week. If that's what it is, you owe it to yourself to start strategically working to change direction. But you know what most people do? Most people will resist change. Most people will fight change as if change would be worse than what they're experiencing. B, they know this, they're familiar with this. Most people will not challenge the unknown. They want to step out there. B, there are certain things that have to be in place. They've got to see it all together. Life isn't like that. That's not how you grow. So as you look at your life, and if you're not getting what you want, as you begin to look towards the future, begin to know that whatever it takes for you to create that, you've got that in you. You've got genius in you. You've got goodness in you. You've got creativeness in you if you decide to take the initiative to change the current quality of your life. I say to you that you will find that the universe is on your side, that life is on your side. Average becomes sort of like this slow asphyxiation. It's almost like an anesthetic, and over time we become kind of immune and dulled to the average that we're becoming. I know this is true, at least for me. You probably experience it yourself too. Getting back up is all that matters. We're all going to fall. Every one of us is going to embarrass ourselves. Not once, not twice, but over and over and over if we're lucky, because it means that we tried. It means that we got up. It means that we cured our fear by taking action. And I say that the reason we don't even explore the possibility of what to do is because subconsciously we don't believe that it can happen for us. And we don't believe that we deserve it. And welcome to the human condition. That's the truth of what it's like to be a person. You're hoping that you turn inward and see some sign, some glimmer, some gift that you have that's been bestowed upon you, that you were born with, that is your very birthright. But there's nothing. You were born hopelessly average, and the sooner you accept that, the sooner you accept that you're no better than anyone that came before you, and everyone that's going to come after you. But all of us have potential. It's very important to understand that we function better if there is no safety net. Because Plan B becomes a safety net. It says that if I fail, then I fall, and I get picked up, and I have something else there that will protect me, and that's not good. But first, we have to be willing to step into it. And this conversation, we talk about biohacking, changing our body, changing the way it operates for us. But I also have to biohack my mindset and so many things, biohack my conversation, my belief around me being able to touch the world, that I'm worthy of that. So I'm saying that as you begin to look at where you want to go, if you want to make it today, and things are changing so fast, you have to literally run to stand still. I'm saying that you've got to make some conscious effort to begin to work to develop you. Here's something else. Most people are not living their dreams because of fear. Ladies and gentlemen, fear, limited vision, and lack of self-esteem are what keep most people doing things they don't want to do. And they think that this is it, and this is all they deserve. This is all they've ever seen, and it's been passed on to them. They think that this is it for them. Stuff gets better if we work at it and stay focused on where we're going. It doesn't immediately get all solved. This is going to be an ongoing project. And it's a project of persistence, and it will be imperfect. Yes, but over time, is it better? When you come up with excuses for why other people are successful and you're not, that is dangerous. Life itself is a process of becoming, a part of man's ongoing historical drive to manifest his consciousness outside of his mind, in front of his eyes. Listen to me, if it were easy, everybody would do it. There are people right now who are working who don't want to work. There are people who hate their jobs, but they keep getting up to do it. As a matter of fact, you always make sure you take your annual average vaccine, because you never, ever want to catch the disease of average. You have to be totally committed. Everybody agrees you have to be completely uncertain. You want $1 million. You want $2 million. You want $5 million. How much money do you want? How much success do you want? How much notoriety do you want? You want a New York Times bestseller. Why can't you have everything? Oh, but I'm 65. So what? Colonel Harlan Sanders made all his money after he was 65 years old. He wasted the first 64 years. I wish I could tell you 70 is enough, but it's not going to happen. So I need you to understand something. You can have it if you want it, but the bigger the dream, the harder the grind. You didn't grow up with the sense that where we were was where we were going to be. We grew up with the sense that where we were almost didn't matter because we were becoming. We were becoming something greater. Changing is not easy, but changing your life, changing habits, reinventing yourself, picking yourself up after life has knocked you flat on your back. I've got to say, when life knocks you down, try to land on your back, because if you can look up, you can get up. Well, I think one thing that discipline definitely does is help you get things done. And when you get things done, you actually do things. You have more success. If you have more success, and sometimes a big part of success is just not being lazy and just doing it. Whenever things don't go to plan, whenever life throws us challenges and hardships, there's always a hidden blessing and a strong lesson. If you want life to change, you've got to change. If you want life to be better, you've got to get better. It's the only way it happens. Luck will show up for people and leave them. But if you're constantly improving who you are and what you give, game over. That means you understand that at times you will feel pain. At times you will not be comfortable. At times you will mentally hurt. And at times you will be physically exhausted. But it's those times that will catapult you to heights you never thought you would see. It's those times that will propel you to successes you never thought you could achieve. It's those times that will launch you into a stratosphere that only a few ever reach. It's those times that will thrust you into an orbit that most will deem impossible. What I recognize now is that my choice in every way, in every example, in every experience, is to do the right thing. Success at anything will always come down to focus and effort, and we control both. Remember, this is the grind, the battle royale between you and your mind, your body, and the devil on your shoulder telling you that this is just a game, just a waste of time, that your opponents are stronger than you. I tell people all the time, don't just come up with things you want to learn, because that's why we want to learn everything. By human build, we are curious animals. We're deathly curious. I mean, we are literally the curiosity killed the cat society right now. Everyone wants to learn 50 new things immediately, but no one ever learns anything. Why? Because it's not real for them. It's a transient desire. And that's it. That's the secret. If you really want to do something in your life, if you really want to be great, if you want to smash it, if you want to be remembered, the key is to acquire as many skills as you can, because everything you bring into your world gives you an exponentially greater chance of winning, of doing the thing that you want to do. But you have to be totally focused and committed to gaining those skills. How much time do you have left when you start thinking about that? We don't know. Most of us don't use the stuff that we have brought into the universe. Stop wasting valuable time. If you want something, you have to be relentless. You have to know what you want out of your life before you become a master learner. Until I know what I want my life to be about, what I want to experience on a daily basis, what my dreams are, and who I want to be, I don't know what to learn. I'm just going to be curious about things and dabble in them. But that path to real mastery is where we say, okay, what do I want my life to be about? Now let me develop the knowledge, the skills, the competencies, and the capabilities to build into that life. You've got to learn how to become resourceful. You've got to learn how to become creative. The power to hold on in spite of everything. Power to endure. This is the winner's quality. The hunger, the ability to face defeat again and again without giving up. On the other side of endurance, on the other side of outlasting everybody else, is a skill set that makes you unstoppable. We bought into this complete falsehood that at some point you're going to have the courage. At some point you're going to have the confidence. And it's total. Frankly, are we allowed to swear? Bandrejam actuales, andemi situata. Abel sabors from the Okay, it's complete garbage. There are so many people in the world, and you may be watching this right now and have these incredible ideas. What you think is missing is motivation. And that's not true. the way that our minds are wired, and the fact about human beings is that we are not designed to do things that are uncomfortable, scary, or difficult. Our brains are designed to protect us from those things because our brains are trying to keep us alive. In order to change, in order to build a business, in order to be the best parent, the best spouse, to do all those things that you know you want to do with your life, with your work, with your dreams, you're going to have to do things that are difficult, uncertain, or scary. This sets up a problem for all of us. You're never going to feel like it. Motivation's garbage. You only feel motivated to do things that are easy, right? Nah. Thought me at this Sarah Kane was. What do you think that is? Oh, I know exactly why that is, because I've studied this so much. For me, one of the hardest things to figure out was why it's so hard to do the little things that would improve my life. What I've come to realize, and what we'll talk a lot about today, is that the way our minds are designed is that they are designed to stop you at all costs from doing anything that might hurt you. The way this happens starts with something super subtle that none of us ever catch, the habit of hesitating. We all have a habit of hesitating. You have an idea. You're sitting in a meeting, and instead of just saying it, you stop and hesitate. What none of us realize is that when you hesitate, just that moment, that micro moment, that small hesitation sends a stress signal to your brain. It wakes your brain up, and your brain suddenly goes, "Oh, wait a minute, why is he hesitating? He didn't hesitate when he put on his killer spiky sneakers. He didn't hesitate with the really cool track pants. He didn't hesitate with the NASA t-shirt. Now he's hesitating to talk, something must be up." Okay. So then your brain goes to work to protect you. It has a million different ways to protect you. One of them is called the spotlight effect. It's a known phenomenon where your brain magnifies risk to pull you away from something that it perceives to be a problem. You can truly trace every single problem or complaint in your life to silence and hesitation. Those are decisions. What I do and what's changed my life is waking up and realizing that motivation's garbage. I'm never going to feel like doing the things that are tough, difficult, uncertain, scary, or new. So I need to stop waiting until I feel like it. Number 2, I am one decision away from a totally different marriage, a totally different life, a totally different job, a totally different income, totally different relationship with my kids. Not like one decision means divorcing you in the marriage example, but one decision in that you could be having a conversation with your spouse and you feel your emotions rise up within a tiny window. Those emotions can take over and impact how your marriage goes. Or you can learn how to take control of that micro moment and make a decision to act in a way that actually shifts your marriage. Your life comes down to your decision. If you change your decisions, you will change everything.